Welcome live to the Racing Hotspot Weekend Roundup. The date is June 1st. Happy June.
45-degree June 1st.
That I was gonna say that's why I'm wearing my sweatshirt where he's in his shirt. It's raining.
I'm a man.
It's cold and rainy outside, and you came and I was working on notes and I just forgot to grab my shirt. In all honesty, whatever. Tonight we're doing a double-header type show. We're going to have last week's show, which was IndyCar Formula 1, Formula E, which I don't know if you took a look at any of the names for Formula E.
Yeah, some of them were tough.
Yeah, that's going to be like 20 minutes in itself. Then NASCAR, we're not even going to talk about the Points Championship. After NASCAR, we're going to take a break, and we're going to go to this week's recap. We're not going to talk about the Points Championship because of how it changed in the week. You know what I mean? Here's how it was last week.
Yeah, I finally won.
I was going to say, here's how it was last week. We're going to take a break. Now it's changed in a matter of
it makes
30
sense.
seconds.
Just sum it up. There'd
Yeah,
be no
exactly.
reason to...
Exactly. And the final lap, why we're going to talk about that, right? Okay, so anyways, so that's how it's going to go. Here's the show lineup for the first part of our show. Motorsports in 60, Formula E, which I'm already going to say I apologize for the names on that one. IndyCar, Formula 1, and then NASCAR. I'm going to take the break after that point. So here we go. Motorsports in 60. 60 seconds starts now. One topic for last weekend. The Hisense 4K TV 300 at Charlotte. Here we go. There you go. Here's the top 5. Finishing 5th was Darrell Wallace Jr. Regan Smith finished 4th. Casey Kane finished 3rd.
Oh, yeah, I'm sorry. Oh.
Denny Hamlin finished 2nd, and Austin Dillon won the race. I was trying to just quickly focus on that, but I look over and I'm like,
I went to look at my notes.
Casey Kane finished 3rd. Oh no! But,
I wanted to see what I said about this race, and I don't know. All I had to say really was, "Hey, wow, a Cup guy again." not much to say short of again a Cup guy.
Mm-hmm.
And with 15 seconds left to go.
Well, that sums up that part of the show. Now to Formula E, which I'm so glad this is not timed.
Yeah, this is definitely, well, I don't know, I think I have that. One's tough.
Alright, well, and by the way, you told me you're like,
You need to listen to them, yeah.
I know how.
Plus the guy's got European accent.
Exactly! I'm like, I listen to the recap, and I'm like, and they say the name, I'm like, okay.
It is funny how the Europeans, though, can make it sound so much more exciting.
Well, yeah.
Like the Simpsons episode thing with the soccer, it's hilarious.
Well, and like I said, I listened to the highlight reel about 3 or 4 times trying to get the name, and
Which one's got you?
The first one, because they would say Jermone.
I would say Jerome
D'Ambrosio, but the way they say it is Dodome. It's like, what? Dodome? What?
It's not the same.
Sorry.
It's not even the same in this country, let alone in the world. You know how people speak.
Yeah.
I was watching something last night, and it cracked me up. Actually, it was about the Senate and Rand Paul and whatnot with the holding them out on the whole NSA thing.
Mm-hmm.
And because he was just holding them out and saying the same thing over and over and again, they started taking call-ins. And people calling in with their opinion, as usual. And this one guy calls in, and it was Alabama, and I'm not making fun of Alabama, love Alabama, you great people. But this guy was so thick on the Alabama accent, he starts saying how, I don't care if anybody listens to my phone calls. I mean, if I have anything to worry about, then I might be worried about. And you just watching the announcers like on, and he's like, trying to understand what the guy's saying. They wound up hanging up on him. Oh. I felt bad. It was like the guy's just trying to put his opinion out there, and probably a relatively good opinion, and his own opinion, obviously, because I feel the opposite. I don't like to be spied on, but then again, I don't have anything to hide either. So he made that point.
Yeah.
But it was just funny because that was the only point you understood. You couldn't understand a word he said, and that's right here in this country. Next phone call, Tennessee. It was almost as bad. It was like, wow. But then again, if you're from Tennessee, we probably sound like insane, you know?
Yeah, exactly. But here is the Berlin E Prix. Still different.
Yeah, it is. I didn't find it that exciting. This race itself wasn't that exciting. It seemed kind of slow.
I can see that. While we're talking about, why don't we have the highlights running behind us? Because I can have your top 5 and yeah. But it's an interesting course. Like some of the other courses they raced on, it seemed like were a little bit more better constructed. Whereas this one was kind of like, okay, we have an airport. Let's throw one together. You know what I mean? My opinion.
Understood. Pardon me, folks, but I have allergies going like crazy right now.
I was like that about a week ago.
Yeah, you probably don't want to. This is probably not allergies. It's probably whatever you gave me.
No. I determined mine was allergies, which I'm glad.
Huh?
I determined mine were severe allergies.
Well, we'll get you, especially this time of year. We have a lot of oaks in the state, and oaks. I just read up that oaks actually produce the worst allergy-ridden pollen. Did not know that.
I didn't either. So, this is just the extended highlights from the Berlin E-Prix. We'll just have that running while we're talking about the race. So let's go over the top 5 real quick. This is about 16 minutes, so we'll probably have about 2 minutes left in the highlight reel by the time we go to your notes. Whatever the highlight reel is, actually. So finishing 5th was Nick. Hold on, I got this. Hydefield?
It's either going to be Headfield or Hydefield. I would go with Hyde. I think you had it right on that one.
Hydefield. I'm sorry, Nick. Nelson PK. Woo!
Because you heard that one a million times.
From NASCAR and Rallycross. He finished 4th.
It does seem like either the first name's tough or the last name's tough, but one of the two aren't that difficult.
No. So I want to say it's Loic.
Yeah, Loic Duval.
Duval, yeah. Loic Duval finished 3rd.
It could be Loic.
Yeah.
But, yeah. Well, it's new to us, so we're going to be spending more time paying attention to these pronunciations.
Well,
although, as he pointed out, it's kind of difficult when you're getting the European pronunciation, which I guess would be the correct.
Yeah, it would.
But it depends on where he comes from.
Yeah, exactly.
it's kind of a tough one.
Yeah.
He could be from Australia, and he's got a European announcer killing his name, kind of like what we're doing.
Yeah, exactly. Finishing 2nd was Sebastian, got that much, and then Buemi.
Buemi. My guess would be Buemi.
Buemi, okay.
Buemi. Buemi. Sebastian Buemi.
He finished 2nd, and then Jerome. Yeah.
I would go with Jerome.
Jerome.
The American pronunciation of that would be Jerome.
Jerome.
Now, that doesn't necessarily mean that's the way he pronounces it, but Jerome D. Ambrosio. That's what I'm saying. Jerome D. Ambrosio.
Okay.
Won.
Yeah, he won the race. Congratulations to him. So, as you see, the highlights, they are extended. Looks like we're watching the whole race here.
This is actually one of my notes here was did the announcer come from radio? European announcers can make anything sound exciting. It was very true. Because it's just a tough track, but it seemed kind of slow to me. It wasn't all that, I wasn't all that impressed with the speed and whatnot. And then watching Formula One, it was like, oh my lord, that was a complete and crazy
I was going to say, you compare it to Formula One, this NASCAR...
Well, this track, I think, was just tight. It was real tight, lots of turns. I mean, it was a nice track. I would love to take a shot at it. You know, anything like this. I love road courses myself, for driving.
Yeah.
Because I like to turn both ways, don't get me wrong. I would love to just do an oval. I'd be fine with that, too. But to do the... that kind of thing. I love that. Like coming off exit 15.
Yeah.
Off 93 onto 393. I love those curves.
Oh,
I love those curves. And
when
people hate
northbound,
me because if they're in front of me, when you're northbound, if they're in front of me, I'm driving it like a race driver, so I'm cutting in and then going wide and then cutting it. And I don't even have to hit the gas, and I'm still catching the person by the time we're getting on to 393. I'm like right behind them. Because they're all braking and going all slow, and it's like, I just love shooting into that and just whoa, right through it.
Too bad it's not double lane, right?
All right.
Well,
there's enough room to pass.
Yeah, it
I don't
is.
know if I would do that. 'Cause you're either going to make somebody really mad or probably get caught.
Cop passing by. Hey!
What on earth is this guy? What is he? Joe Race Driver?
Go buy another sticker. I'm not speeding, I'm qualified. Yeah, he's a race fan. Woo!
But there definitely, one thing I did know, there were some pretty big names in there. DeGrassi, Paquette, Prost, Senna.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, these guys, they're playing multiple games, I'm guessing, at this point.
Yeah, exactly. And it makes sense because a race driver, as you know,
Well,
can't.
that's all, when you're dealing with something that goes globally, that's a lot of jumping around,
Mm-hmm.
especially if it's all in one weekend.
Yeah, exactly. But still, if you're a race driver, you're not just gonna be like, well, the next 3 weeks I got nothing to do, because you have an off week that weekend. We're like, okay, YouTube. I watched this video 3 times last week. Let's watch it again. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So, but definitely an interesting race, different series. It's almost like Formula One and IndyCar, just.
And that's the other thing, too. It's so quiet.
Yeah. And there's the European announcer.
Back on the exit of the corner though, so they'll go side by side down towards the right-hander of 4. Hypo still has the inside line, but there's D'Ambrosio forcing his way at the inside as well, and Trulli is dropping back.
Just
He's
waiting
now
for him to go.
his teammates so Trulli from 4 is back down to 5th position. But PK's under a lot of pressure from Saracen now. Starts to the inside into turn 6, and that's job done.
Nicely done. Yeah, just towed him down the back straight and just snuck out
What
like
did
a
you
straight
do? We got the whole race here?
into turn 6. So nicely done by Steph.
5 minutes in.
Needs
10 more to go.
his championship rival out in P1.
Oh, it can't be the whole race.
He's looking good to
No,
score
the whole race I think
points
is like
here.
15 minutes.
And
Yeah, it was
Nelson really
almost
needs to
an
get
hour
the
long.
most amount of points
It
he
just
can
went from
to,
6 laps to 12.
damage limitation for the championship.
And D'Ambrosio now is in front of Nick Heidfeld. Joan D'Ambrosio is up into 3rd position. He's got past him somewhere else on the
D'Ambrosio.
circuit. And now the Dragon
That's how
car
they
will
say it?
start to close in on Sebastian Buemi in front of him. That'll be the aim anyway. So
That's how he's
local
saying
man
it.
Heidfeld, well, I'd say
So with that hyphen,
bunch of Gladbach over in the
Oh,
West
they have a
End,
hyphen there,
he's
but I
in his
guess.
home race nevertheless. He
Say
is now dropped
D'Ambrosio.
into 4th position as they come
That's
across
like I
the
said
line.
though.
Now,
That
he's
might
on
not
racing
be.
in
That might be his
Lucas
pronunciation,
He stays
not
up, so
necessarily
with
the driver's.
9%, he can get another lap in, which is, in theory,
It would be interesting if
enough
they
for
did
Nelson
like
Piquet to do another lap as well.
a driver
Scott
introduction where the
Speed
driver
tries to
introduced
pass
himself
Salvador Duran, and
before
he
the
manages
race.
to do so, so that's speed
You know,
up
just says
into
his name.
15th
Could you imagine
position.
NASCAR
Look at that,
like
Salvador Duran
NASCAR drivers?
has got front wing damage
And
there, so
Jeff
he's
Gordon,
come
how do you say your name?
on the
Oh wow, we were way off.
Wouldn't do it that way.
I know.
Driving the Drive to End Hunger 24, Jeff Gordon. And you know what I mean?
I'm saying, could you imagine how racing?
racing.
Wait, how do you say it?
Well, Jeff
We
Gordon's
were
kind of a
way
hard
off.
name to mess up.
No, I know, but
I wonder what he would sound like saying it. Jeff Gordon?
17 of 33 here in Berlin. Lucas de
alright, we got enough of that right now. Probably enough to get copyrighted. Anyways, so overall it was a good race. I caught highlights, as you can see. What other notes did you have on it?
That was pretty much about it. It was, what was the last thing? Yeah, not that exciting. So, you liked it a little more than I did. I have seen Formula E races that were very exciting. This one, to me, just seemed kind of just calm and quiet. And I mean, granted, I kind of, you know, appreciate it just for the racing alone. But like, really, nothing happened. Just some passing and blah blah, and it never seemed to really get that fast to me.
Driver switches, which just still blow my mind. Let's go in and just switch cars. I'll go
Yeah,
down.
it is weird.
Like, there are a couple going in. I don't know if they'll show it. Probably won't.
That's weird too. How the pit is there too.
Oh, there it is.
Yep.
Yep.
He pulls one in, the other one's set up to go out.
Yep.
Now they switch paint schemes and everything too.
No. It's the same paint scheme.
Oh, because the first one that you showed there looked like it was he pulled in like a yellowish green car and he was leaving in a. Although maybe it was the
The back end.
other car next to him. Yeah.
But yeah, then these cars are all charged and good to go.
Got good batteries.
Still. Along here. The highlight reel.
Yeah, you moved it along by 2 laps.
I know, right? You talk about slow.
We have a lot to talk about tonight.
Okay, anyways. I'm just going to bring up the schedule. I forgot to look it up before I went. We're going to talk about IndyCar next, so just hold on 1 minute. The Indianapolis 500. Just going to pull this up. I forgot to put this on the final lap. Oops. What is the next race for Formula E? Russia. Oh. This Sunday. Wow. I really, really dropped the ball on this show. Okay. IndyCar. Indy 500 was the last weekend. Here we go. Here's your top 5 from the Indianapolis 500. Graham Rahal finished 5th. Scott Dixon finished 4th. Charlie Kimball finished 3rd. Will Power finished 2nd. And Juan Pablo Montoya won the race. I don't know. You watched the race, right?
Yeah.
Okay. Well, I caught the last 10 laps Saturday when the Indy race this weekend got ended early from rain. So ABC was like, okay, well, we're 20 minutes short of ending. Just watch the last 10 laps of the Indy 500. And wow.
Yeah, it was a pretty wild ending. Actually, I really thought it was Will Powers, but he got a little bit loose. What was it, on the second to last lap? And just as that happened, somebody came up out of the pits right in between them. I don't know if do you remember seeing that? Literally came right up out of the pits at speed, but got right in between them. And as soon as that happened, it was like the nail in the coffin. There was no way Will Power was going to catch him. But I do believe that it wasn't because of the car coming up.
Mm-hmm.
I do believe it was because he got loose. He had a pretty good wiggle there, and that was pretty much it. He lost a good amount of car lengths, and on your last lap, you ain't gonna catch 230-mile-an-hour car.
No, but still, it was just amazing how. All right, the draft was a big thing, as you saw. All right, he's leading. Wait a minute, turn 2, he's leading. No, wait, no, now this guy's leading.
How much do you know about the traditions of the Indianapolis 500?
Traditions?
Yeah. Like the Indiana song.
Mm-hmm.
I'm so sorry, I can't remember his name right now. But what comes to my head is Gomer Powell. Well, it was the first year he didn't make it, and I was kind of sad. That was a little bit of a tear-jerking type of moment, but then the guys that filled in, they did a pretty good job. And one of the traditions is Mrs. George, the basically track owner at this point in time. Not sure if her husband's still around. I don't think he is.
I'm not sure.
He may be, but she's at least physically able to get out there and do. She always does the start your engines. Yeah, drivers, ladies and gentlemen, start your engines. And I don't know who it was that was sitting or standing next to her. Did you catch the beginning? Oh, so you missed it all together. This is a highlight you may want to go back and look at. It's a young lady, I'm guessing a family member, and she was probably there just to back her up in case she couldn't do it, because, Mrs. George is no spring chicken. She's up there.
Mm-hmm.
And the girl kind of gets in, and Mrs. George does one of these, like, flicks her hand at her, like, leave me alone. And then she does the, ladies and gentlemen, and pauses for a second, and the girl just sticks her head in the microphone and says, start your engines! And she, like, went to whack her on stage, and then she goes, start your engines! Did her job. And the first thing I'm thinking to myself, family member or not, I wonder if they're still alive. Because you do not step on that woman's feet. And she just did. She just, like, literally just jumped in. It was like, oh, you gotta be kidding me.
Let's see what we got here.
So next year's the 100th. Oh my.
Old traditions with a new twist, including Straight No Chasers rendition of Back
That was
Home
nice.
Again in
Fully loaded
Indiana.
too.
2008
kinda hoping they were gonna mention his name.
Scott Dixon led the field of
No,
30.
they went right by it. You're not going to find it in this highlights. I have it on my DVR if you want to take a look at it at a later date.
Okay.
But it just seemed like, I don't know what this girl was thinking, but it was just such a bad idea.
Maybe she
And I
was.
would imagine at the very least, if she was a family member and Mrs. George didn't want to kill her or have her killed, she was probably hanging upside down from a rafter for at least the rest of the race until she decided to let her down because it was just a bad move. Dad saw it too. The Godfather. He said the same thing. He's like, "Oh boy, that was not good. Not good."
No. But maybe she was told if she stutters at all, step in. You know what I mean? But maybe not that quick.
I would say you step in if you're waved in, and because she was perfectly capable of waving her hand. You know, she could have went like this, like, "Help me out here," and she did not. She got very mad, and you could see that she was very mad. Like I said, not a person you want to make very mad. Especially if you said knock you out of the will. Because that's a big will. Another thing, though, that I had felt about this race, there was a lot of wrecking, that's for one thing, but the start was absolutely terrible. They should have called it. They should have not started. Yeah, I'm hoping those two guys are alright. That's here in my notes, too. The two crewmen that were hit. I haven't heard anything further, so I'm going to assume they were okay.
What do you mean the start was horrible?
So it was horrible. When they started the race, they were not even together. They weren't like they're supposed to be. You know how they do it? That's not it. Oh, that might be it. Yes, that's how bad it was. Yeah, because there was a wreck like right away. They're supposed to be 3 wide and on each other, not a half a mile. I mean, they weren't even drawn up. You know how NASCAR will wave to start if they're not tight?
Mm-hmm.
And then tell them they need to get tight, they need to get tighter, tell the crew chiefs, I need these cars tighter, blah, blah, blah. You hear it on the radio. Well, that should have happened there. What's his name? Started the race. He's also a race driver, but he's an actor.
Oh, not Dempsey.
Yeah, no,
Oh,
Patrick Dempsey.
yeah, Patrick Dempsey.
If I were Patrick Dempsey myself, I would have waved it. I would have just pulled back the green flag and put out the caution flag. Although he probably wasn't even holding one. But I don't think... And Dad agreed. He said that it was a terrible start. The first start, you know, the start of the race, they were not together, and that's what caused that the rookie there, the young kid, to get wiped out because they were so spread out. Everybody just started shuffling, and it was an immediate wreck within the first lap.
That's unbelievable. I don't know. I know IndyCar is different from NASCAR because, like you said, leader
Yeah,
can't...
I've seen the Indianapolis 500 a million times, Devin. They're normally very tight. That was a hard wreck.
Oh.
Especially one of them was in the car for quite a while. Had me a little nervous.
Ouch. I don't know. IndyCar is different from NASCAR because with NASCAR you have to stay side by side until you cross the stripe, but I'll see on road courses.
Well, it's supposed to be that way here too, and they're supposed to be tight to each other.
Well, I was going to
Like
say...
a car length, a group of 3,
Mm-hmm.
car length, group of 3, car length, group of 3, car length. They were like, some of them were like so far back, they're like a half mile back on the track, the guys that were starting in the red. And it went green. And it was like, you know, if you're all the way back there, now you got to do everything in the world you can to just catch that group.
Yeah.
Which is not the way it should be.
I'm not sure.
It was a good race. There's a lot of wrecking though.
Which I
Bad
guess-
wreck at laps 177, which I believe everybody was just looking at.
Which, in all honesty, the way the aerodynamic kits were, if I went like this, we were both going around. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like it was the aerodynamic package. You can't get close to each other in the corners. From what I just saw from those wrecks, it was mostly he comes up and
Yeah, well, if your wheels hit, forget it. You
Oh,
got to remember
yeah.
the wheels are going two opposite directions. Well, they're going the same direction, but when they hit, they're not.
no, I know.
One's going this way, the other one's going that way. So when they hit, you know, there's a bump.
Yeah.
Actually, Formula One that weekend had a really bad wreck, and the kid was doing great. Went to go for the pass, and no idea why he just got so close, but he bounced off that car in front of him. Car in front of him did just fine. He got totally wrecked. One thing that I wanted to mention too about that lap 177 race, I've never seen it before, but they actually carried the driver off. Like one big guy walked over. They got him out of the car. They finally got him out of the car. It was a good few minutes. And he just literally scooped the guy up, brought him over to a pickup truck, put him in the pickup truck, and then the pickup truck took off.
Yeah.
I've never seen that happen.
That usually would mean that he might be injured.
Well, yeah, but wouldn't you put him on a board or
Well,
something?
was the ambulance still there?
I don't know.
Well,
I didn't
that's
even know
my-
it was an ambulance. He went into a pickup truck.
That's my question. If the ambulance was still there,
Well, the
okay.
ambulance had plenty of time to get there because they didn't get him out of the car for quite a while. As a matter of fact, they were showing replays of the wreck, so I automatically assumed he was out of the car. And then they're showing everybody working on trying to get him out of the car. And I'm like, I shouldn't. Once again, I don't feel that you should show replays ever until you know that the drivers are all right. I stick by that rule ever since Earnhardt.
We use that rule when I'm filming races. I don't show a replay until.
Well, I guess NASCAR is really the only one that officially uses it. Well, besides us, you.
Well, I thought it was a broadcasting rule. I thought.
Maybe so.
I'm pulling. I thought it was because of after Dan Weldon, it came into effect full.
And the speeds in Indy are just unreal. Unreal. I mean, they are basically jet fighters, except they don't take off. And the reality of it actually is commercial airline.
Yeah.
190 to 195 miles an hour is when it's lifted off. These guys are going faster than that. They just don't have the flaps to make them fly. It's like, whoa.
Pit crews. All right.
So yeah, when you're on a runway,
You
and
wanna
you're in a
go home?
passenger- If you're in a passenger airliner, and you're on the runway and you're taking off,
Yeah.
and you look out the window watching the things go by faster and faster and faster, it's only up to 190 miles an hour. Now imagine driving in a tiny little cockpit with four wheels sticking out at 40 miles an hour, faster than that.
I'm good.
Oh, I'm all for it. I would love to try it. Excuse me, especially with the safety now.
Valid. I couldn't find a Formula One highlight reel for when we get to Formula One.
I already said the rest of my notes here. It's hard fighting to the end, and because you asked about the last 10 laps, and it's a nice job for Montoya. I would have thought too early, but power, because when he took the lead, generally at Indy, I don't know how many Indy races you've actually seen, but generally if you take the lead with still a few to go, you're the target. You're most likely not going to win the race. But Montoya did pull it. I said, because I was rooting for him, I'm like, too early, Juan, too early, and apparently then power got a little bit loose, and a lap car got in between them as he was coming out of the pits. I don't really think that had anything to do with the win. I think it was the wiggle, but still, even at that, I mean, it was pretty amazing that Juan Montoya won. I would have thought that, and it looked like he was going to, too. It looked like Powell was going to catch him.
I hear you.
That was a funny thought I had, too, that when he was looking for his family in the winner's circle with the milk, he only took a little sip, and he's like looking for his family, and my thought was, tell me he's looking for Penske, and he's going to pour it over his head, which would be gutsy, but hey, I'd do it. What are you going to do, Roger? I doubt it. I think he'd get over it.
No.
Like I said, he may get in trouble, but it would be worth it.
No.
And then my last note was those two crewmen. I didn't hear anything more about them, other than they were taken to the hospital, but never heard any more, so I'm assuming they were okay.
Probably.
It wasn't that bad a hit, but then again, it's kind of hard to say on a television end of it. I mean, even if you're there in the audience, it's still hard to say, the guy just got hit. Especially by ankle biters, because that's what I call these things. The front end of that thing, that's an ankle biter. You get hit by the front end.
Ouch.
Yeah, just take your foot right off. Actually, there was an incident many years ago that I don't even like to talk about, where somebody kind of got, I hate to say it, virtually hacked in half, and it was because of a wing on a car. He was trying to get something off the track, and it was under caution, but this guy was coming back around to catch up to the rest of the field. Didn't know he was coming up the track, and yeah, it was brutal. And they actually did show it. It was one of those things you can actually look up and see, and I don't recommend it personally. Very, very rough to look at.
Hey.
But it does give you a reality of just how unsafe things can get
Yeah, which I have something to go off of that, but we will talk about that when
Me
we
too.
get to NASCAR.
Yep, me too. Truck race by any chance?
Possibly. And Cup race. Anyways, Formula 1 now. It's the Monaco Grand Prix. So, here's the top 5. Daniel Ricciardo finished 5th. One in every top 5. Really.
Yeah, you got me on that one. Danil Kvyat.
What he said.
Could be Kvyat, because it could be a silent V.
Jeez. Well, I apologize for that name. Lewis Hamilton finished 3rd. Sebastian Vettel finished 2nd. And Rosberg won the race.
Even Vettel, I've heard his name said several different ways.
Vettel.
Vettel. So it's, it all depends on where are you from, I really think. I think that when it comes to the names, it's more or less you need to hear the driver say his own name. But like I was saying before, that would make for an interesting introduction thing. Driving the Sunoco number 42 is, and the driver says his name. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
That way, at least you get a real idea of how. But then again, you've got pronunciations from different parts of the world where it may not necessarily be pronounced that way if he was from, like I said before, Australia versus being from Germany.
Yeah.
So, who knows? I don't know.
I don't know.
It's tough.
The Formula 1, Streets of Monaco. Always a fun, exciting race.
Yeah, actually, that was.
Usually the first race.
I thought that was a great street track. The layout was awesome.
Usually the first race on the Sunday of Memorial Day weekend.
Right there in my notes. I would love to do just one lap in these cars. Just one.
And then afterward.
Oh, I tell you, I would have loved to be able to afford one of those waterfront floating front row seats. You see the yachts that were lined up there? Oh, my. And they got the best seat. Cars are right there. I mean,
Yeah.
you literally saw the back of your mega yacht, and the cars are going right by you. Comes the nose again.
I'd love to wake up to that on a Friday morning.
How many times do I keep talking about it? It looked so much fun driving one of these cars. And that first wreck too. Did you actually see the race?
No. I didn't see anything except for like the last
you
200
really need
laps.
to start watching races. Tell your relatives when they come up or whatever that they gotta let you do your thing. Because actually that was the weekend you were up north and whatnot, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I was planning on watching the
Man,
racing.
you won't win. You need a DVR. You need something.
Talk to my mom. She actually said she was interested. And I'm like, wait, what?
I don't know if you have too many trees or not, but if you go with the Dish TV, I'm not supposed to be advertising for people, but unless they pay me or us. But with Dish, it's relatively cheap, and they have really good DVRs. I have 80 movies in my DVR, and I got tons of races, and it never run out.
Oh, I know.
Yeah, that's right, because you use my slang, which everybody offers, by the way.
Yeah.
Metrocast offers that same type of thing.
Yeah.
So does DirecTV.
I saw a commercial for Xfinity the other day.
Yep, Xfinity also has it.
And they said they're like, we're the only place that has this. I'm
Yeah,
like,
they all call it something else. They can say that because it's a different name.
it's a different name, but it's
with
the
Dish,
same
it's called,
exact
yeah,
thing.
with Dish it's called a sling.
But
Yeah, the first crash, you didn't see it, but the first crash that I had caught, the barriers? It was like 40 feet deep with barriers. It was like, what, are you kidding me? I mean, the car went straight in, barely even got any damage because there was so many barriers to take up all the impact.
hold on one second.
But then again, that's because it's a street track and they can't put up permanent soft walls.
Excuse me, we're just gonna take your parking spot and put up safer barriers. Excuse us. Videos. Trying to find if I have anything here from the Monaco race. Race highlights. We can have this playing in the background. No? This isn't Monaco.
Let's try to look up the right thing.
No, it's making me pay for it.
Is it really?
This isn't Monaco. No, not Monaco. Yeah, no, that stinks.
No, you can go on my DVR, but it would take forever.
That's annoying. Okay. Anyways.
The other thing that I think is amazing about Formula One is the the pit stops. It's like, what? And they changed four tires, but gas in it is like, they were averaging 3 seconds.
The guy got a drink.
Well, exactly. And then my thoughts were on that one, because I kept trying to count every time I was watching the pit stop. How many guys are allowed on a wall in Formula One? Like 30? It's like, how many? There's so many guys around this car, and that'd be the only way that you're going to be able to get 4 tires on the car, fuel, whatever adjustments, drink for the driver, the whole kit and caboodle in 3 seconds.
Well, the thing is,
There was something like 2.8.
the adjustments are done computer. Heck, crew chief can send something to the driver's steering wheel, the driving go, and the wing goes. You know?
Okay.
Yeah, they have so.
Right, so they don't
much
have the adjustments, but if you do watch a pit stop, though, there's a bunch of guys.
No, I know. Grandpa, you probably got it too. 19-something pit stop compared to today's Formula One pit stop.
Oh yeah,
And the video's like 15 minutes long, and it's like 14 and a half of that is the old one, and then the new one is like 2015. Thanks for watching. It's like, what?
Yeah, it's too bad the Godfather's not here this weekend, because I had to admit that he was right. Indianapolis has never had running starts where you run to the car.
Mm-hmm.
That was they had them at the track, but not in the Indy series.
Mm.
Oh, and that was another thing too. I was saying how much I would love to drive these cars,
Yeah.
but driving a safety car looks like it's got to be the greatest job in the world. You get the whole butt, and if you get the chance, check it out. What I found, when you, like I said, if you get the chance, check it out. But when I got so curious about it that I actually wound up researching it, and there's a reason for it. A Formula One car is designed to either be stopping or going, not pacing. They don't like the pace. You wouldn't remember them, but your dad and my Banshees, the Twin 350s, they were bad too. Like if you were just riding normal, the bike would be like ding 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 ding, because it doesn't like to, it either wants to be accelerating or slowing down. One or the other. You know, it's either go or no go.
Yeah.
And that's the way the Formula One cars are. And to prevent damage, the whatchamacallit, pace car,
Yeah.
does upwards of 100 miles an hour. And you can see it because when they're going through like the turns and whatnot, he's hitting and his wheels are coming off the ground. And it's like, that's just crazy. That looks like an awesome job. And they're all stuck behind you.
Meanwhile, in NASCAR, they're driving along and they're like, this is, the pace car drivers are watching F1 and going, this is boring.
Yeah, I did read here too. It's either go or stop. Therefore, the pace car has to keep a pretty good pace, or the cars could potentially get damaged, which I found very interesting. They actually mentioned it during the race that the pace car has to keep up a good speed.
Yeah.
But I'm sure in the car itself, though, it's doing like the Banshees used to. You know what I mean? You probably get the shaky,
Yeah.
I want to go kind of thing.
Usually on, when you're on board in the
Like
caution.
sound effects.
Yeah. Usually when they're on board in a caution, they're like they're feathering it, because with cup cars they'd be like, but with Formula One, like you said, it could damage it, so they have to like speed up and slow down.
Now you're a Formula One guy. What's his name again?
Peter Long.
I had a question for Peter I found very interesting, because when they were talking about it, they kept saying that they had a Ferrari, a Mercedes, and a Red Bull.
Mm-hmm.
Is a Red Bull a car?
No, Red Bull's the
McLaren, I thought. So why was the announcer saying it that way? A Ferrari, a Mercedes, and a Red Bull. I would have think. Because I thought either a Red Bull was a Mercedes or a McLaren. And now I'm not sure, because if he was saying it correctly, then it would have been a Ferrari, a Mercedes, and a McLaren, or a Mercedes. But he specifically said a Ferrari, Right now we have a Ferrari, a Mercedes, and a Red Bull.
Maybe I think a Mercedes.
I'm like, is he drinking a Red Bull or is that the car? What? I'm not sure. I know
in my hand right
I know
now.
Red Bull's a team and they do a lot of design, so it is possible that maybe they are. But we'll have to ask Peter that.
Yeah. Here's a pit stop real quick.
How many guys are there? Come on.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20.
So like a NASCAR whole field.
Yeah.
Missed that guy in the back.
No, 21.
Dad.
He came out. He came out. He's like,
Let's show a real time ago though. Go back and show it. And look how fast. It's just absolutely ridiculous.
it's one of the slower ones too, or at least I think
I
it
don't
is.
see a clock either though. That'd be cool. Come on. That was about 3 seconds.
Mm-hmm. And then these guys are like, all right, good job, night. Good job. All right, go home for the weekend.
That's nuts.
But yeah, great race from what I've heard and saw. Of course, I can't find those highlights, but Nico Rosberg, when I heard he won, I'm like, wait, what? But because Lewis Hamilton has been dominating, and I saw Hamilton in third, I'm like,
That happens.
what
No,
happened?
Nico ran a great race though, so he did deserve that win.
Yeah.
I got congrats to Nico Rosberg and the Patronus Mercedes. 3 times in a row. Only 3 now for. It must have been something the announcer had said. So he won 3 times in a row?
Yeah, 3 years in a row at Monaco.
Oh yeah, okay, 3
So
times in a
he
row.
Won this year, he won last year and the year before. They had said that, and I'm like, oh yeah.
4 men have won 3 in a row in history of F1 at that track.
Mm-hmm.
It's pretty amazing.
Good luck with the pronunciation of the fourth guy. Fourth guy.
Yeah, a little note.
Yeah, thank you.
I put some stamps. That's why we don't show my notes anymore, because some of it's, it shouldn't be shown on screen. But I had little stabs for Devin, like this one. Good luck with the pronunciation of the fourth place guy, Devin.
Yeah, you can't even read your own sentence. Gag. Yeah. Move
That's him
on.
having a hard time breathing right now too.
All right, let's
Probably
go.
thanks to you.
Wow, it wasn't me. Anyways, down to the NASCAR segment from the Coca-Cola 600. Quickly here before we go to a commercial break, because we're probably like 3 hours into the show. Here's the top 5. Martin Truex Jr. finished 5th. Matt Kenseth finished 4th. Dale Earnhardt Jr. finished 3rd. Greg Biffle finished 2nd. And Carl Edwards won the race. I caught the last 200 or so laps of that race.
Okay.
So that's about all the
So you
race
didn't
guys.
see the flyby or anything like that in the beginning either. It's a shame.
I know.
All weekend, and I would have to guess that the reason for it was because there was a lot of high-end people, a lot of military people at these tracks. But all the flybys, Indianapolis, I think it was 2 A10s, and then 4 F-18s at Charlotte, all fully loaded. I mean, they were loaded, guns on, rockets on, bombs on. I mean, the wings were just loaded on everything. The F-18s were very obvious. The basic design of an F-18, wings loaded, big old extra tank, the whole kit. Well, those things were ready for anything. It just, in a way, kind of. If I was there and I was looking up, going, "Don't mess up," because there's a lot of stuff coming down.
Don't mess up.
But they were there for a reason.
Yeah. And the other person on the other end of the radio was like, "Get back here, quick!" Hey, yeah, right.
They most likely never left.
No.
The planes were probably just went way up high and were doing circles. Because, like I said, there was a lot of military personnel there. Whole bunch of reasons why, if we had to come up with something, they can come up with it quick.
Mm-hmm. But
I love how I made the note. Great stop at Kenseth and Edwards. Meaningless. And then I had to add, maybe not. Because, obviously, we know who won.
Race is long, maybe too long.
It is a long race. It really is a long race. It goes pretty well into the night. And it may be just because you're watching racing all day long. Even if you just watched Indy, the 500, and the
1,100 miles of racing.
I was watching racing all day because I was filling in stuff today on the in-between that I had DVR'd. So it was like, I think I made a note of it on Facebook. It was like 13 straight hours of racing I watched. So it was like, okay. And then what do I find? At like 1 something in the morning, I find drag racing. I'm like, okay, I got to go to bed. Well, I'll watch that too. Like, I'll watch 2 rats run around in a circle, chasing a piece of cheese.
Congratulations, Carl Edwards. Now let's head over to NHR drag racing. What?
Have you ever actually seen the drag racing when they have the 4 lanes?
Mm-hmm.
That's crazy.
That's Charlotte.
It's well, Charlotte, and I think Englishtown's that way now too.
Oh.
One of them, which I think is Charlotte, is Bruton Smith. He owns it, and I think he was the first one to come up with the idea.
Mm-hmm.
But I think it's just crazy. That's craziness. All 4 cars. I mean, how do you know what to watch? And it's like, too much going on.
You kind of just stare at something and use your peripherals. Wow, that grass is really nice.
Yeah, Joe Gibbs had a great weekend. Obviously, we got the winner. Kensington 4th, Hamlin in 8th, and Kyle Busch in 11th.
Yes.
Which is it's a nice comeback for Kyle.
Turned around at Dover and it
Yes, we don't want to get into that yet. Well, let's put it this way. This past weekend was like the complete opposite for Gibbs.
for Dover, but we won't get into that till after the break.
And I did, by the way, point out, and they did on TV too, that it was an amazing job for Kyle because they were really expecting him to wind up bailing out of the car. And I think it was Eric Jones was standby for him.
Mm-hmm.
But he ran almost 600 laps. And that's tough because, especially when you're dealing with leg injuries, because the legs get very stiff and whatnot and dehydrated. And it is amazing that he made it 600 miles. I mean, that's a long race.
Mm.
I put 600 laps, but it's not 600 laps.
Jeez.
600 miles, which is still plenty long.
Yeah.
No, it's halfway to Kim's house
Mm-hmm.
in a couple hours. Ooh, that would be nice. Get to Kim's in like 6 hours.
Yeah.
But it was also a good night for Biffle, Earnhardt, Truex, Newman, Keselowski, Harvick, and Kurt Busch. They all were in the top 10.
It's a good night for. Hold on, my list is here. The whole field.
Well, sadly, the whatchamacallit, Hendrick cars didn't do all that well. The only one that did good was Earnhardt. Beyond that, the closest to anything was Kane in 12th. Gordon and Johnson, I don't even remember. There were nowhere to be found.
Yeah, I don't.
Actually, I think
I
Johnson
know
got wrecked out.
Johnson spun out twice.
Yeah, but he got wrecked out the second one.
Oh,
I didn't even think he finished.
I don't remember.
Although they are amazing at putting it back together.
That's like an F1 pit stop NASCAR style.
And 3 out of the 4 JGR cars are now in the chase already.
Who's the fourth one?
Kyle.
I know.
Don't know. And as we know, Dover didn't do him any justice. Anyway, we'll talk about that in a little bit.
Yes, we will.
And the other thing I wanted to point out is after that, you know for a fact that JGR is going to be throwing everything they have at the 18, just to make sure that all 4 of their cars are in the chase.
Mm-hmm.
Because then it'll be like almost half the field. Actually, it would start out as, what, 1/4 of the field?
Mm-hmm.
16 now start in the chase. You know, maybe I'm allergic to you.
Right.
Well, it's seeming that way. So that's pretty much all I had to say on that race. And on that weekend, for that matter. Except I wanted to admit to the Godfather that he was right, and he has never started with a running start.
Mm.
Like, literally running to the car start. They've started rolling starts, stopped starts, all sorts of different ways. But never running to the car.
Yeah, never. And go! And the drivers run across and they're strapped in and then hope for the best that they don't hit someone.
Alright.
But
need batteries in the smoke detectors, do we?
probably. Okay, we're gonna take a quick break. I'm gonna see how long that was. We're gonna take a quick break. On the other side of the break, we're going to have part 2 of the show. So don't go anywhere. We will be right back.